let's stop talking about the Zurich Classic and start talking about Wells Fargo, I guess.
I guess so. Oh man. So we finally have a decent week where we actually have good players playing instead of just like really crappy fields to keep on like praying that we don't like suck. Like last week I had like half my guys get top 25, then half of my guys miss the cut. So
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen this week, especially with just such a really good field to look at, and like 6 withdrawals going into it as well. So
Yeah.
interesting stuff.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Dustin Johnson withdrew today, Smiley Kaufman withdrew today, Stuart Sink withdrew,
Brian Gay.
I think one
couple
more
other
person.
guys.
Yeah.
Like
They probably suck, so if we can't remember them, so don't worry about it. But yeah, Dustin Johnson was the most surprising. But I don't know why he withdrew, but
so
I thought he
like
was a nice.
there was a video of him on Instagram. He was partying with his wife, and it was like listening to a song. And it was like, I don't give a fuck, just like dancing to it and everything like that. So I think he might have did some coke or something like that, and that's why he withdrew and didn't want to get through the drug testing supposedly this week as well. So maybe that's why. Oh, Geoff disappeared. Oh no. But yeah, like going into it.
Sorry, man. I hit
no
close
worries.
on my window.
I was like, oh.
What happened? I'm here though. I'm here. It's good.
Good. Yeah. So like maybe that's why Dustin Johnson withdrew, because he probably did some coke while he was partying with his wife, and didn't want to get drug tested by the Olympic people, and so on and so forth.
I hope not for his sake, but you never know, man. Yeah.
I mean, how many times has he got caught with marijuana? Like 6 times, and then 2 times with coke, and yeah, it's he likes his drugs. His drugs. DJ would definitely have failed the drug test for sure. But yeah, let's get into it. So I really like this field. I really do. There's a lot of value down at the bottom, and then we also have a lot of value in like the midsections and really solid value up top as well. I mean, no one's like unfairly priced, I think, like we have had like the last couple of weeks where like Ricky Barnes was 7,800 yet last week, and stupid pricing for just several players, but I think it's really, really solid pricing throughout the whole entire field.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the pricing, it's relative to the field strength every week, right? So, I mean, last week you had Berger at like 10,000, which seemed insane, but the field was really weak. I mean, there was only like 2 elite players. Now you have like this field is the best we've seen in a long time, like just for a regular tour event, right? So, yeah, there's a ton of values this week in the 7, even the 6K range. There's even some guys like in the really low 6K range who are looking like pretty good bargains. So, yeah, it's interesting. The drawback is, you know, with all the elite players, you have to know which ones to play and who to get on and stuff. And I mean, this is kind of a unique event because you have the guy at the top has such a good record here, and it's like, what do you do, right? Because there's so many good players underneath him, but hard to ignore Rory McIlroy's record at this event.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's insane. He's been so dominant at this field, and I kind of think it's a week where you either go all in on Rory or you fade him out entirely. I think that's the strategy you have to go with. You either go big or you go home, in a sense.
Yeah. I think that there is a lot of tournament value in going with like a more balanced approach. Like I think looking under 10K this week. I think if you start with Phil, JB Holmes is under 10K. I really like the guys in the 8K range. I mean, Justin Thomas is only 8K. I like using Justin Thomas when he's this cheap. I think this is a great week to use Justin Thomas, but we'll get to him. You know, Byung Hanan is still only 8,600. This guy's super talented. So I don't know. I was creating teams today, and I'm just like, I couldn't make a stars and scrub team I really like, but the balanced approach, if you're fading Rory, I think that's probably the way to go. But at the same time, you know, you don't have to fade Rory completely. I mean, I don't think that's like necessarily the strategy here. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, going under 10K, like you said, there's a lot of guys where you can really make a balanced team and just like load up on Patrick Reed, Byung Hanan, and just go on from there, and you don't even have to worry about going under 7K to make a really awesome lineup. So yeah, I think that could definitely be a way to really attack GPPs if you want to.
But who do you like off the top? Like, if you're making a cash game lineup this week, are you gonna use Rory?
I'm not gonna use Rory in cash.
No.
I think that's still a little sketchy to go on. In a sense, I always prefer just being more balanced in my cash lineups because it just makes me feel more safe. But if you're wanting to go down that route, there is quite a bit of value in or merit into going in that. I mean, Ryan Moore is 7.5K. We have Brendan Steele at 7.2, and then just going on with it, Bryson DeChambeau like 7.8. We have Chucky 3 Sticks 8,100. I mean, you can really get away with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's kind of why I brought it up, because normally I wouldn't really consider it, but because of his record at this event, I don't think you have to do that this week because I think there's the field is deeper than usual. So I think that there's other ways you can go. So, but it's kind of an interesting because you could make an argument for it this week for sure that that's not a bad way to go. So who else are we paying attention to at the top this week? Like there's one guy I kind of like. He's right at 10K is Justin Rose. That's kind of the other than Rory. That's the guy I've kind of got my eye on this week if I'm gonna go above 10K. I like the way he sets up for this course. I think this course is more of like a championship style course. Justin Rose won a Congressional. You know, he's won a U.S. Open. He's got a fifth here a couple years ago. Kills par fives. There's a lot that I think sets up well for him this week. I don't know. I mean, I think most people just be off him because of last week. So in the depth of this field, I think you're probably getting him like 10%. I like him. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? You on Justin Rose?
Yeah, I'm on Justin Rose pretty high. I think I'm going to start my cash games with I'm going to like make 4 cash game lineups because I think it's just like such an easy way to go. I mean, if you have one bad lineup, you'll have like 3 others that can be just as good. Like be more just be cash viable in a sense. I mean, there's so many routes that you can go with a cash game this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm targeting Justin Rose a lot, and I think that he has a lot of merit going into it. And like you said, this is a champion style course. I think there was a U.S. Open here before, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think it was the U.S. Open, and then the PGA Championship is here next year.
Yeah, and yeah, it's such a difficult track. It really is, and yeah, I really like Justin Rose. I'm kind of curious to see where his ownership is going to be. Like you said, 10%. That's kind of where I had him pegged before the Dustin Johnson withdrawal, and I'm kind of curious if people are going to go either more stacked on like Adam Scott, Ricky Fowler, or they're going to like ignore Henrik Stenson and then go to Justin Rose because Justin Rose is a guy that a lot of people can get on at times, and people just hate rostering Henrik Stenson just because he quote unquote can't win. But so that's kind of how I'm thinking. If anybody's going to be low on, I think Henrik Stenson is going to be that guy. But I really love everybody in the 10K. I really do. It's really hard to like just pick one guy to go with.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, I think Ricky's always pretty popular. I mean, I think Rory's going to suck up a lot of ownership. So I don't think anyone under him will be super heavily owned, but I'd say Ricky will still be pretty popular. I think Dustin going out probably makes Rose a little bit more popular than I hoped he would. I wouldn't have been shocked if he was like under 10%, because I think Dustin was actually going to be a pretty popular pick. Mm-hmm. So now I think more people will flock to a few more people get on Rose, which is fine. He's still going to be, you're not going to have to worry about him being like 30% like last week. He'll probably, I doubt he'll even get the 15%. That's my feeling anyways. Just because, and one reason why is because there's a lot of guys in the 9K range too, and I mean Phil Mickelson, 9,500. Oh man, the record is so good here. I mean, the guy, like literally, he's played here every year since 2005. Made the cut every year. Has like 8 top 10s in that span. So I mean, he loves this course. He just loves it. So it's hard not to look at Phil at 9,500 and not think about that you're getting a huge discount, because I think you are. But again, he'll probably soak up some ownership. I don't think he'll be as popular as he would be if he was coming off like a really good Masters or something like that. But he'll still be pretty popular, and I think JB Holmes in that range will be popular too.
Yeah, I love JB Holmes, and I really like Phil Mickelson. It's really weird that Phil Mickelson does so well at course where it's like so tight, and there's like it's tree lined on every hole except for a couple holes where you have water on the left or water on the right, and he just contends really well here, and it's just I can't like really grasp on it because it's not really his quote unquote style of course. I personally think so. But yeah, he really likes it, and I don't know if I'll get on him in cash games. I know that kind of sounds stupid, but I think I'd rather just go on Phil Mickelson and GPPs and just like making him core in GPP lineups just because his record's so like good here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny course because it is tight in some areas. Like there's some tee shots where it's like the 18th, for example. I mean, like you can't miss there. I mean, like that creek up the side and stuff. Like that's a crazy hole. But there are some holes where if you bomb it in the right spots, you can miss. And I don't know. I've heard the rough is not that bad this year and stuff like that. But yeah, there's some places where you can completely bomb it on this course. So I don't know. The longer hitters seem to like it. Obviously, you need length off the tee for some of these shots. So I think that definitely plays into guys like Holmes and Mickelson's hand. What do you think about Patrick Reed? I mean, do you think he's going to be the lowest owned in the 9K range? I have a feeling he will be, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I definitely agree with you on that. I mean, people are going to look at his course history and say, oh, he hasn't done anything here, so I'm just going to pay him. But I don't think that's going to be something that you kind of want to peg with Patrick Reed. I mean, he's just such a solid player, and he's sneaky long as well. I mean, he averages like 295, so it's not like he's lacking distance or anything. And he hits a natural draw. I know he's been kind of wanting to work away from that, but I think if he just plays to his strengths, I think that he could really tear this course up if he really wants to. It's just if he actually does want to,
Yeah.
I don't see why he'd struggle at this event. I really don't. I really think this really sets up for his style of play to a T, I think. But it's really interesting.
It is interesting because he might be playing the best, maybe not the best of anyone in that range because Holmes is playing pretty well too, but I mean, he's coming off a second. I mean, the Masters was kind of whatever, but T10 at Houston, 7th at Valspar. I kind of agree. I mean, there's really no reason. He's not super short off the tee or anything. He gets good roll. He's got, like you said, the big draw. So, yeah. I mean, I don't hate him this week. I feel like he's got some legitimacy to him. It's just hard to get away from Mickelson and Holmes in that range. But
it really is. Yeah.
But I think if you go with Reed, I don't think you're making a bad choice because it's like you said. I can't find a reason why he should play bad on this course. And quite frankly, I mean, he played well at the Shell Houston Open earlier. I think that course has some similarities this week. So It's it's he's an interesting play. He'll definitely, for me, he'll be the lowest owned in the 9K range.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I like people don't like Patrick Reed to be doing it. And I don't like Patrick Reed, but I he's going to be really sneaky. I think it's definitely a aggressive approach to get on Patrick Reed, but I don't think you want to get too cute with it. But I just think that he has some merit to actually do well here, and I don't see why he shouldn't do well.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting that he hasn't. What do you think about Hideki? Do you think he's going to get along well here? Because you don't really need to be a good putter to win here.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to be a good putter. And he's putted well enough this year. I mean, he's not like an elite putter or anything like that. But yeah, it kind of like Reed. I mean, if people just start getting all up on Holmes and Mickelson and they end up at like 20-25%, I mean, you're going to get Hideki at a lower ownership. And again, I mean, objectively speaking, I mean, Hideki's probably been the best player in that range over the course of the year. So tee to green, I mean, he's got enough length off the tee. He hits his long irons really well. I can't really see him struggling with this course either. I don't know. It's tough. Like I said, if you're going game theory wise, Hideki and Reed are probably the play. The truth is, I like all four of those guys. I mean, I like Holmes, Mickelson, Reed, and Matsuyama. So it's tough. I mean, I think it's hard to ignore the form of JB Holmes and just what he's done this year. Like, I think he's played really well. I think he's done everything but win, basically. I mean, I think this is maybe one of his most consistent seasons thus far. So. That's pretty interesting. Phil is, I know the course history, and I even told myself this is the tournament I want to get back on Phil. he just burned me pretty bad at the Valero. So, but I think this is a spot to get back on Phil. I mean, he plays well at certain events, and he gets up. He's at that time in his career where he gets up for certain events. So, yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'm probably gonna stay off Matsuyama. I might chance Reed a bit, but my top two plays in that range are Holmes and Mickelson. So that's who I like.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I just can't get it in my head that like Phil Mickelson plays well here. I just can't get it into my head no matter how hard I try.
The courses, I mean, it's kind of understandable because the long par fours, right? Like his short game helps him on those, because not everyone's hitting the green and stuff. And then, on the par fives are reachable, and there's some reachable par fours. So the course is hard, but there's some scoreable opportunities too, and I think that's why Mickelson takes advantage of those. He can take advantage of those holes. So I think it's just the way it's set up. It's not just one style of course or hole over and over. It's a mix.
Yeah.
And Phil can take advantage of those, and I think those are the courses where he generally plays his best. It's just one of those things. It maybe just sets up for his eye better, and he just in his mind he likes it. So I mean, that's probably with him that might mean more than anything.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it for sure. So, like, I basically like, so like the guys in the 8K range, I really have my eye on is Byung-Hun An, Daniel Berger, and Chucky 3-6. I think these guys can really just tear this golf course apart. All these guys just do really everything well, and Byung-Hun An's just been tearing it up for the past few weeks, it seems, and he's coming into a player that can actually contend on the PGA Tour, and he just really does everything well. And on Monday, what did he shoot, 7 under? And
yeah,
I mean, he just plays so well, and yeah, I just like Byung-Hun An, and then Daniel Berger is always an iffy guy with me, but he just hits everything well, and he just hits pins no matter what. And that's kind of a thing that I really am starting to look into a little bit more, is guys who really play well from 125 all the way to 175 range, and because that's where you usually see all his shots go, and he's one of the best players in that area. So I really like him this week as a whole, and I think he could really take advantage of this course. It's just whether or not he's going to keep it in the fairway or keep it out of the trees for the most part.
Yeah. You're talking about Ann keeping out of the trees? And yeah. It's possible. I was kind of shocked he choked in that playoff. To be honest, I really thought he was gonna drill 2 shots and just take it home. But yeah, dude is super talented. Like you're getting a discount with Byung-Hun An. You really are this week. He could easily be priced up there, with Patrick Reed soon. So, oh man, I really want to play Paul Casey this week. I'm struggling with this. Like I want to play him. I think he sets up well. He won at the Shell Houston Open. That's like his only win on PGA Tour. I feel like he's such a solid ball striker too. And I feel like he's going to be so low owned. I'm having trouble pulling the trigger, but I kind of like Paul Casey for all the reasons that I like Byung-Hun An and Daniel Berger too. So I don't know. He's like a little bit. I feel like of people in that range, people just forget how well Paul Casey played at the Masters and how good he is tee to green. So someone to keep an eye on. I'll just mention him. I won't spend too much more time on him, but I do kind of like Paul Casey this week as a sneaky guy. I just won't be shocked. Coming off that, I know he came off that missed cut, but this is a completely different course, and tee to green, he's really good. So I won't be shocked if he plays well. But
yeah, I'm sorry, but
go ahead.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy who contends better on tougher courses. That's what I've noticed with him, and this is definitely a tougher course. So I think that he could be a really good player.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the long par threes and some of those other courses, they play more into his strengths than like say the Heritage did. So I like Casey, I like Ann, and I like Berger. The guy I really like this week, and mainly because of the price, is Justin Thomas. You need length off the tee here, and you need you need to hit your irons. You need to hit a lot of long irons and stuff like that, and I think this course sets up amazingly for Justin Thomas in the long run. I like his forum people look at it. Oh, he's 39th at the Heritage, or 75th. Sorry, he completely bombed the 4th round. I forgot about that. So he bombed the Heritage. Actually had a pretty solid Masters for his first showing. To be honest, I wasn't expecting him to do that well. I don't think he's playing that bad, to be honest. I think he's kind of gotten into form as the season's gone on. So I like playing Justin Thomas when he's a little bit cheaper than he should be. And I think, with Berger, Forded more, Byung-Hun An, 86, people forget Justin Thomas was T7 here last year, and he played really well. I like it. I really like that price for him. I think he's got so much length off the tee that's really going to help him. So that's the guy I like at 8. I'm really interested to see how Jamie Lovemark plays this week, because if he didn't play last week, I would have been on him this week. But now in my brain, I'm like, what is he going to do? Because he literally blew that tournament. He left that putt like an inch short. Didn't play the par 5s well at all in the playoffs. So I don't know. I think you could see a big bounce back and another big week, but that's got to be a little draining. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, because just like going back on the course and again rain delays and getting back on the course, then get called in for a rain delay and just going through all that ordeal and just being mentally exhausted that way, and then going through a 3-hole just going into the playoffs and he just couldn't convert on the par 5, and when he was just insanely awesome prior to the playoffs. So I don't know if he's bummed out and just mentally drained from it, or if he's just really rejuvenated. It's a really interesting spot, but I think all in all, this course really sets up for Jamie Lovemark really well, and I think we're getting a really huge discount on him. I think he's a guy who should be 8,500 and just be right around there. I think we are getting a really huge discount for him.
And I'm kind of there. Like I said, if last week hadn't happened and he just took the week off, I'd probably be really in on him. I'm still debating whether I want to go that route, but if he plays the way he did last week, look, he's going to do well in this course. I think it sets up great. He played well at the Shell Houston Open, which again, I think kind of compares it fairly well to this course. I think the problem with me for this range is from like 8K. Well, I mean, I think there's definitely some really interesting value plays in this range. So you mentioned Lovemark, probably a little bit cheaper than he should be. I think Kevin Chappell is, again, kind of a guy really trending. I like his attitude these days. Like he's starting to put together consistent results. He used to be a guy who showed up with like a top 5, and then he'd like miss a cut, finish like 60th, and just like do nothing for like 5 weeks, and then he'd show up again. Now he's putting together consistent results. Like he's a really good ball striker. Should be able to handle this course. He's got a really good course history here too. So I kind of like him in that range too. I mean, I think with him and Lovemark, you're both getting guys trending in the right direction. Interested to see how many people will go on Webb Simpson. I just can't justify using him when Justin Thomas, Lovemark, and Chappell are all there. I just can't do it. Like I don't care that he lives on the course or that he's played well here. I just can't do it. Like I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to go on Webb Simpson this week. But he does have local ties. So and then Bryson DeChambeau and Patton Kizzire, 7,700, 7,800. I mean, another two guys who could show up this week. Emiliano Grillo, Tony Finau. This range is just like chock full of guys we could talk about for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm green like on every single guy that you're talking about. Honestly, it's it just seems like such a chalky week, and you don't really need to put yourself out into a risky situation this week, I think. But I like Kevin Streelman at 7,500 and Ryan Moore at 7,500 as well. I think these two can really benefit you in GPPs, and all in all, I think Kevin Streelman can really tear this course apart if he can keep it in a fair way, which is basically his game. He doesn't really hit it off that far off the tee, but you've seen guys do really well here in the past, and consistently who are not like long hitters. And from 150 to 200, he's really solid with rank 33rd from 150 to 175. And then he's 9th from 175 to 200. I really think that he could really put himself in a situation to tear this course up.
Yeah, I like those plays too. I do kind of like Ryan Moore this week. I am targeting guys with distance, but I honestly think if I was going in cash game, like Tony Finau's a great player, but I think I might trust Ryan Moore a little bit more in a cash game, just because those long distance guys, they bomb it, but once the driver goes a little off or whatnot, I mean they're primed for like a 77 on a course like this too. So same with Patrick Rogers. Obviously awesome. Played awesome here last year, a great long game, but I like Ryan Moore, and I kind of like Streelman too. Streelman's played better than people realize this year, just in stat-wise and just overall. So, yeah, those are the two guys I would definitely in that range. I think I like more than anyone. Martin Kaymer's kind of interesting to me at 7,400. He came coming off a 6th place in Spain a couple weeks ago. Played well. That was kind of a tough golf course too, and he does have like a couple top 20s here. I was looking over his history. He's never shot better than 69 on this course. So, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's a tough course, but I was hoping for like a little bit more than that. I was hoping to see him go a little bit lower. So, I still don't mind Kaymer. I think more as a cash game play. I feel like just because of the talent. So I don't mind him either. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to bother using him in tournaments. I don't know if he has enough upside, but it's just someone to mention because that's a pretty big discount on Martin Kaymer, I feel like. So, and then if you keep going down, you see names like Robert Streb's playing a little bit better. He was T4 here last year. This is kind of around the time where he started to play better last year. So I don't know if I'm going to chance him this week, but someone to keep an eye on. Luke Donald is playing really well. I think I'm probably
extremely well.
Yeah. I think I'm probably fine just leaving him off the teams I'm going to make this week. I'm going to have him on some teams next week. I can guarantee you that at the Players. I think that's a guy who I really like for that course next week. But I thought I'd just mention that because the Players is a big tournament, and we're not too far away. So, but who else do you like in that range?
So we got a question.
Okay, go for it.
Is Patton Kizzire a good play this week? Maybe. Like he makes birdies. He avoids bogeys and scores on par fives and does pretty well on par fours. But other than that, it kind of and he's really good at putting. But I don't think that this is the type of course that can really benefit his game in a sense. But he could be sneaky. But I don't think that there's so many other options that you can really look for. I mean, you can go Kevin Chappell, you can go Webb Simpson, you can go Jamie Lovemark, you can go Bryson DeChambeau, you can go Gary Woodland, Tony Finau, Emiliano Grillo, Ryan Moore, Luke Donald, Brendan Steele. I mean, there's so many other Graham Dillette. I mean, and Martin Kaymer. I mean, there's so many other ways that you can go about it. I mean, you don't have to force yourself to get into Patton Kizzire this week.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. It's just a case of, I mean, he's really consistent player. All around, he's probably a more polished player than some of those guys, but I think you're exactly right. I think the course sets up better for guys like Lovemark, guys like maybe even Chappell, Thomas. I just think like, doesn't quite hit it as long, bit more of a bomber's course. There's just better spots, and I just think it's so deep this week that I'm not going to use him either. But he's playing. He's a really good player. I mean, there's no question about it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, there's just a lot more better plays that you can go for.
Yeah.
We got a question. Though you can get similar performance from List at a discount. Exactly. And same with HV3. Just saying. What are your thoughts on Brendan Steele, for instance?
Oh yeah, he should be. I mean, he should be a pretty good value play this week. I mean, I feel like whenever Brendan Steele is like too low, he plays awful, and whenever he's too highly priced, he plays really well. It's like he knows what his price is, and then he like freaks out. But yeah, I mean, the guy hits it big off the tee. That should help this week. Played well at the Valero. I don't necessarily have a reason not to like him. Yeah, I mean, I look at this range too, and he definitely pops out. I know people are talking about Jason Kokrak. I kind of like Jason Kokrak too. Jason Kokrak, it's kind of like Tony Finau. It's just like I don't know when this guy's going to shoot like 74, when he's going to shoot like 68. And it's like with Jason Kokrak, it's like I just don't know when the guy's going to play well. You can look at stats with him, but I mean, he really does sort of, he just kind of goes on and off, and it's hard to predict with him. At the same time, he's got a ton of length. He kills par fives. So in that range, those are the two guys I probably like the most. I'm not really interested in Lingmerth or Brian Stewart on this course, or Ian Poulter. Jason Bones still chugging away, trying to get back in shape, I think. Those are the two guys I've got my eye on in this range mainly. Harris English might be an interesting play, just because you're getting a discount on him. But I think consistency-wise, Brandon Steele is probably the play in the lower 7K range. I mean, he really is. So, you could go down further. I mean, we'll talk about the guys under 7K in a sec. But, yeah, I mean, I think Steele probably, for me, is the most consistent play in that range.
Yeah, just looking at Brendan Steele, is Brendan Steele just as good as Scott Stallings? No, he's better than Scott Stallings. Yeah. He's better than Scott Langley. He's better than Martin Laird. He's better than David Lingmerth. I mean, it's a very interesting spot for Brendan Steele. I think that a lot of people are going to notice that and get on him quite heavily, I think.
Yeah, and it won't hurt that he was T9 here last year either, right? So.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into that 6K range. Who do you like?
I hate range? Harold Varner III. I hate him this week. He's awful.
I see how it is. I see how it is.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, is he from the Charlotte area?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is too. So this is local. So, I mean, maybe he puts too much pressure on himself. First local event, I guess. I mean, you could get into theories like that, but I mean, look, the guy's played well 2 weeks in a row. Tons of distance off the tee. He's showing a little bit more, in his short game and stuff like that recently. He's just managing courses better, I feel like. I don't have a reason not to like him. I mean, really, it's his price went down this week for some reason. I was expecting him to be more expensive. He's still priced in that kind of lower, he's priced below guys like Scott Langley, like you said. I was expecting him to be in the mid sevens. So I think you're getting a discount on him. If I'm going under 7K, I mean, he's one of the first guys on my list, 100%. Yeah.
Are you just saying that just to not make me mad? I think
no, I'm not. Trust me.
Yeah, but I really love Harold Varner III this week, and I know I always overhype HV3, but I'm always honest in how I feel about a player. But I agree with you 100% with HV3. I mean, he can really take this course apart, and he was actually one of the better scramblers on the Webb.com tour, and he just kind of let that go this season. So it kind of, like you said, it kind of seems like he's getting back into form with his short game. So that's really good to see. And, he's coming back into form, and it looks like he's a lot more confident. Like, compared to when he was playing in Florida, he looked very uncomfortable with himself, but, like, going the last 2 weeks, he has that zoned out look, like just in the zone look, and I think that he's going to try to do his best to get a top 10 finish and just keep on propelling himself up the world rankings and just be a better player. I mean, he has so much talent for who he is and what he's worth, and a lot of people just discredit HV3, but that's not how you should look at things. I really think. But yeah, I think Luke List is another guy. Like I swear I tout like Luke List every week, but he's such a good player, and just like HV3, he does literally the same exact things as Harold Varner III, and maybe people are going to get off him just because he missed a cut last week, and I think. This is going to be a week where you can get back on him and show yourself, show some merit into rostering him. 2013, he got a 16th here, so that shows some course history. So it's going to be an interesting week for Lucas. So whether he's going to be highly owned or not, I don't think he's going to be highly owned. I think 15%, and I'm really hoping HV3 is not like over like 10%. I mean, people have been dissing on him so much, and now people are probably going to be touting him just because of he's done so well like past 2 weeks, and they'll be like, oh, he's such a good player, when they've been saying he's just such a terrible player. So that's kind of a but
it's I don't think people are necessarily like, I think people are seeing him play better and they're interested, but I don't think it's to the point where it's like you're going to see everyone jump on him. I think they're still like, okay, he's cheap. He's played well. I think you'll see his ownership go up. I don't think you'll see him be. If he is over 10%, it won't be by much. And that's kind of my guess. He's a hard player to guess for ownership percentages this week, I think. I mean, I think the fact that guys like Steele and Kokrak are there, not much more than him, will help keep him lower. And I think some people will still get on Luke List this week too. So I think both those guys kind of stick out to me in the 6,900 range. List burned a lot of people last week because he 3-putted on 18 to miss the cut. From like 20 feet too, he 3-putted. Brutal. So yeah, that was brutal. Him and Sean O'Hara can just go die after what they did last week. Oh my god. We'll get to Sean O'Hara because
so good.
Because I'll get to Sean O'Hara, but because he's like my Harold Varner III right now. But I like both those guys. I'm trying to look if there's other dudes in this range. Kyle Stanley kind of sets up well, I think, for this week. He's a good ball striker, but again, I think List and HV3 are the discounts for sure. So someone asked about Will Wilcox. Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, I think for me, there's 3 players that are sticking out, maybe 4, because I don't mind John Senden, but I like Sean Stephanie. This is a guy who played really well last year at points. Really solid ball striker. He hits it pretty big off the tee, and he hits it pretty straight off the tee too. Like he's not just a bomber. He's more of like a ball striker, I call him. He can hit it long and straight. He really struggles with the putter sometimes, but he's played better recently. And this is a guy I want to get on if he's going to start striking it better, because he will keep making a lot of cuts and keep getting you top 20s and top 30s. And if he's going to be priced at 6,600, I think that's great. I think this course is like perfect for Sean Stephanie. Morgan Hoffman is kind of interesting to me for this course too. He played pretty well here last year. He struggles with like the long game sometimes, but I think on this course he got to go. And then Will Wilcox is the guy people asked us to talk about. Maybe this isn't the most the like perfect setup for Wilcox, but God, his stats, like if he's gonna get it going again, and those stats, tee to green, he's really solid. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that range and those guys?
I can see merit into rostering Will Wilcox. He's not really the guy I'm going to be like walking myself all over, but I'm like you said, I really like John Senden.
Okay, yeah.
I just love his game all around, and he can really set himself up well here, I think. And
kind of like Ryan Moore will play this course. Yeah, just be very solid. Yeah.
You know what? I really like that Morgan Hoffman got DFL last week. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody was just like touting him so hard, and there was like no merit into rostering him last week. So
yeah, he had like one good round. I mean, and it wasn't even that good a round.
It makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, but like Jonathan Byrne has been like off and on the PGA Tour. Like the last few weeks, he's been playing on the Web.com, and he's been throwing in some really good finishes, and I think that there might be some merit into rostering him this week. I don't know how well he's going to do here, but he's done well here in the past, so you can't really ignore that, I think. And it's just basically going on to a GPP narrative, like just with his course history. But I mean, he gets off the tee really well. He doesn't really bomb it, but you don't really need a guy who's going to hit it like 300 yards here. I mean, there's been a lot of successful guys who have played well here who are not bombers. So I think there might be merit into rostering Jonathan Byrne this week.
Yeah, I'm kind of on you with that. Like, I don't mind Jonathan Byrne in that range, because it does get kind of like I don't hate Will Wilcox this week. I feel like maybe there's better setups for him, but like I feel like maybe this is just a bit of a tougher setup. I like him on more of like a scoring course kind of thing, like we saw last week. I liked him on that course a little bit better. And that's kind of why I like Morgan Hoffman this week too. I feel like this course is a little bit tougher, and I just feel like he's set up for a bit of a tougher test. I know he's played well at Congressional too. Again, I would say Hoffman is more of a GPP pick for me. I think Stephanie you could maybe consider for cash. But going down, is Johnny Vegas going to be like the guy down here that's like 20% owned this week?
I don't know, because he's like never made the cut here. So,
yeah, I know, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like Johnny Vegas. I don't know how he's going to do here, but I hope that he does well here, because I'm going to be playing him in a couple of GPP teams. But yeah, I don't know. I think people are going to ignore him with this course history, but he's just been so down the last few years. So and he's finally back to where I think he should be as a player. So I don't know what's going to go on with him.
Yeah, it's interesting, because the other guy in this range who will probably be, well, actually maybe there's a couple guys, because Ollie Schneider-Jans is if we were at like this time last year, everyone was talking about DeChambeau. Everyone was kind of on Ollie Schneider-Jans.
Yeah.
As like the next guy, right? So he didn't wear a hat and stuff, and everyone thought he was cool. But he still doesn't wear a hat, but he's a really solid young player, and he's been playing well on the Webb.com. He's like top 10ing every week. So 6,400, man. Like I kind of like him. I mean, I think him, Vegas, and the other guy I was going to mention is Lucas Glover, who really owns this course. We talked about him last week. He was pretty solid play last week, to be honest. He started well. He didn't really have a good third round, but
yeah, he just struggled.
He's still solid. This is a course perfect for Lucas Glover because it's just all about hitting fairways, hitting it pretty long, and hitting long irons and stuff like that, and hitting long par threes, which is what Lucas Glover does really well. He did it well last week. I think of all three of those guys, I might trust Lucas Glover the most, which sounds crazy, but
I think you could have merit into rostering him in cash games if you wanted to.
Absolutely, yeah. I think so too. Yeah. Yeah, I can't find a fault with Lucas Glover this week. I feel like at first I thought he's going to be super chalky, but looking at Jonathan Vegas and Snyder Jan's down there, I don't even think he'll be that chalky. I don't think we're talking like 20% Lucas Glover here. I think it'll be more like 15 max, maybe 14 and GPPs. And like you said, I think for cash games he makes sense. So.
Yeah, like when pricing came out, everybody's like, "Ooh, all these Snyder Jans, ooh, Johnny Vegas." Like, no one was talking about Lucas Glover because everybody just hates him with his putt. But yeah, I really like Lucas Glover as a solid cash game play. He's won here back in 2011, and he's had solid finishes here before. So yeah. What about your guy, Sean O'Hare, then? What do you think about him?
Okay, so first of all, like, wow, I can't believe he's 6,100 this week.
Yeah, right?
Like, I was... First I saw Lucas Glover at 6,300. I'm like, holy cow, that is, like, way too low. And then I kept going. I'm like, Sean O'Hare's less than him. So, I mean, look, O'Hare was, like, he had a putt for 600 last week on, like, his, like the back nine of the second round, and he missed. And then he went like bogey, double bogey, birdie, bogey, double bogey. Like, it was nuts. And he ended up missing a birdie putt, like a 10-foot birdie putt to miss the cut. I feel like his game is really close. Like, I feel like he's just, like last week, he probably lost concentration a bit because he's playing like 27 holes. I mean, he still hits it long off the tee. He's like fifth in par 4 scoring, so short game is amazing. It's just a matter. I just feel like it's just a matter. He's just got to get it all together, and I'm going to be really on Sean O'Hare the next 2 weeks because he plays this course well, and over time he's played TPC Sawgrass really well too. I mean, he almost won the Players one year. I think he was second at a Webb.com event there one year or something. I don't know, man. I mean, for 6,100, there's not a better upside play at that range that you're going to find for me than Sean O'Hare this week. He could shoot 77 on Monday. I wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, I mean, I feel like technically sometimes he just, he can get out of sorts. But when he puts it together, I think he's gonna have a big week, and I think he's gonna contend soon. So I think he sets up well with the length. I think like par 4s, he's gonna be able to handle better than most. So we'll see if he puts it together this week. I'm not gonna use him in cash games necessarily. Like, I think I trust Lucas Glover more. But yeah, tournaments, I'm all over him.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I really want to see Sean, like the top 25 in the world, Sean O'Hare again. I mean, he was such a good player in past.
Close. Like, he's so close right now. He's the putting's back. The short game is phenomenal. Like, he's like one of the best bunker players on tour right now. He's like second or something. Like I said, he's still hitting it big off the tee. It's just he's just got to put 4 rounds together right now and just put it all together. I thought he was going to do it last week. I really liked him last week too. I mean, that's another course he's had success at.
Yeah.
But the rain, like I said, he maybe just got out of sorts, and he struggled with that over his career. Like, he's gone through patches like that. So, but like I said, these next 2 weeks, man, he's hit up both these courses before. So take advantage. GPPs, I don't know what he's going to do, but I certainly like him for the upside.
Yeah, I really think that he could really set himself up well here, and his game is so close, like you said. I mean, he could really have a good chance to win here. I really do believe that. I mean, there's no like reason why you can't think that. I think all around one of the better ball strikers on tour, and he just can really putt well as well. It's just gonna have to come down to the question is if he can get his irons dialed in. I mean, I really think that's going to be the question, and I hope it's going to be coming this week because I really love Sean O'Hare.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like obviously on him this year. I mean, it's kind of like a quest to see, just because I feel like he's been trending that way, right? But
yeah, same here.
Yeah, it's just interesting to watch, and I really do think for DFS, I mean, like 6,100 is, like I said, I was like shocked when I saw that. I mean, I was expecting like, maybe like around Harold Varner kind of price, but for him to go down that much, I was kind of surprised. So, yeah, in that range for me, he's like for tournaments, he's the best option. But yeah, there's let's see, I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else. Like David Hearn has played well. I don't necessarily like the setup for him this week, mainly because he doesn't hit it too big off the tee. You gonna have any Derek Ernst?
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No,
I still can't believe that guy won an event, man. Like, holy cow. That like blows my mind. But Nick Taylor's down there at 6K too. I mean, we talked about him last week. I know he kind of bombed out in the second round, but no, he did bomb out in the second round. What am I talking about?
No, he's been playing good. Yeah.
Who was I thinking about? Sorry, yeah, no, okay. So that's another guy we got to talk about because I don't know why I thought he played poorly last week. But, yeah, Nick Taylor is definitely a player at 6K. I mean, very underrated. Like, no love from DFS. I mean, I think people just think of him as the joke guy who, like, won an event a couple of years ago or, like, a year ago. He's been so good this year. I mean, how did his price go down? Like, this is what I'm talking about. I can't believe him and O'Hare went down this much. That's crazy. Because he was last week. How much was he last week?
I have. He was 5,900. He was 5,900 last week.
Nick Taylor? No, he wasn't 5,900. He was like.
He was 5,900. He was 5,900. Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Chad here. Because I don't think he was 5,900. I think he was like 7K or something.
No,
wasn't he?
I think he was 5,900. I really do. I really think Nick Taylor was 5,900, but
okay.
Yeah, I really love Nick Taylor. I mean, I've been rostering him like the past few weeks, and he's just been trending in the right direction. I mean, he hits his long irons really well, and he's really good with his short game as well. I mean, he's just a really good player, and to see him at 6,000 again in just that really low range.
He's 6,900, not 5,900.
Oh, my bad.
So he went down 900. That's still a big jump.
Yeah. I mean, he is a really good player, though.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't give him the credit that he deserves, but he's really a guy who has that really high upside in this range that can really get you maybe even a top 10 finish. I mean, that might be pushing it, but he has that in his range, and he's been consistently getting like top 25, like top 30s and top 25s, and he's done well here in the past, and yeah, I mean, not my bad. I was looking at Henrik Norlander, but he's just been playing really good. He really has been. So yeah, I really like Nick Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, I think in that range, that's the other guy who was sticking out to me. So, yeah, like I said, there's some legitimate players down here that we should probably just touch on. I mean, I think those are the two guys I really like. Bronson Burgoon's a pretty solid young player too. I don't hate him at 6K. Going down, I don't even hate Zach Blair.
Roberto Castro, 5,900.
Yeah, I like Roberto Castro. Did he play last week? No, he did play last week. Yeah, I mean, he's actually been making cuts this year. So I mean, super talented guy. I feel like he's got a good record at this event too, doesn't he?
Yeah, 8th, 65th, 32nd.
Yeah, like I think he came close to winning one year. So again, yeah, that's a solid play. I mean, I think you could throw in Roberto Castro in like a tournament lineup, and I think he's got upside this week. Like I really do. I mean, he's got like top 30 upside for sure. So I like that play for sure. Stuart Appleby's been playing really well. God, he went down like by $1 million too. So again, another guy. Ricky. Someone asked us about Ricky Barnes actually. Do you like Ricky Barnes this week? I mean, do you like him for this course?
I don't think so. He hasn't been like the past few events. He's just been way off with his driver and it's just been struggling off the tee as the most part. And he doesn't like he hits it a solid amount, but I'd rather prefer to have a guy who's not going to be in the trees,
Yeah.
But yeah. If you're wanting to take a shot on Ricky Barnes, I mean, he does have upside to his game, and he could be like a great first-round leader bet. From 150 to 200, he's ranked 22nd and 33rd, and he is one of the best putters on tour. So he might be able to get it done.
He's been putting, and his short game has been amazing lately. Like it's like you said, like it's up there with the top players right now. That's how good it is. So that's definitely in his favor. But like you said, you do need the driver on this course a little bit more. So that kind of scares me this week with him too, because I do see the good course history and stuff. Another thing to note about Ricky Barnes, like his driving distance is down this year. So I don't know if it's because he's struggling with the driver, or if he's switched clubs or something. But something to take note of, it might affect him on this course a little bit more than usual. I know it kind of affected him at the Shell Houston Open too, where he shot like 80 to Open. So I'm not going to risk Ricky Barnes on this course. He's a guy I'm going to keep my eye on. Maybe if he gets his long game together, because he's putting and his short game is really well right now. But I just feel like on this course, you need to either hit it really straight and be really solid with your irons. You need to hit it long. And right now, Ricky Barnes isn't doing either of those things. So for me, I'm good with other plays.
How do you like David Toms at 5,700?
Yeah. Oh God, he just doesn't. He's so short off the tee these days. But I don't hate it.
That's an interesting standpoint with him, right?
Yeah, I don't hate it, to be honest. I actually don't mind that. I mean, I just wonder if he's got enough upside at this event. But there's, shorter hitters have top 20 here and stuff, so he's starting to get into form too. So I actually don't mind that now that I think about it. Because like for his price, if he gets you like 30th, you could probably like win a GPP with him on your team. So yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah, just trying to see who else is down there, because Andrew Luke,
Wilkinson's been playing really well, but he doesn't really hit it that far.
Yeah, I think I'd take Toms over Wilkinson this week. I think I'd like Toms, because God, Andrew Loop, I don't think I'm gonna get back on him.
Never on Andrew Loop.
Yeah.
Never go on Loop. That's oh man.
Yeah, that just don't even do it. Yeah. That guy just way too wild off the tee. He was putting well early in the year, but.
So Stephen Vogt is back in the field, and I personally know him and everything like that, and he was telling me a couple of weeks ago that the one of the main reasons why he's been playing pretty bad was because he has a wrist injury, and he took a Quarterones shot at the beginning of the season for it, and then it started inflaming up again, so he had to take another one. And he also had 26 teeth redone in his mouth, and so he 3 weeks ago was the last time he was on drug, he wasn't on drugs. So this might be a week where he can finally pop back up again. So I just wanted to let you guys keep that in mind. So
interesting.
Maybe on Stephen Bowditch, yeah.
Oh, so you know him personally? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love Bowditch, man. I like the guy. I like guys who just do it their own way, right? Guy got to the winner's circle eventually, but that's interesting. I mean, God, if Bowditch's driver stays in play, I mean, he's always in play. So I probably won't chance him this week.
I mean, that it also like shows why like his stats have just been terrible because he usually averages like 300 and like he's one of the worst in like driving distance. So that it just clears everything up for him in that sense. And
well, it makes perfect sense. I mean, there almost had to be something wrong. I mean, he played pretty well last year for stretches. I mean, I used him in DFS a lot of points last year. Like, I mean, we make fun of the guy because he misses cuts and he's going to WGCs and shooting 80. But I mean, obviously there had to be something wrong with him. I mean, that was a big downside. So that's cool. I mean, definitely someone to keep your eye on future weeks if you don't use him here. But could be an interesting GPP pick for sure. What about Scott Pinkney? That's the one guy at 5,300. I kind of
minimum price for Scott Pinkney is really insane. I think.
Yeah.
I always loved Scott Pinkney.
He's a good ball striker, man. Like he hits it long and straight off the tee, which is really good at this course. So, if he's gonna pop up, I mean, this is the place for him, in my opinion.
Oh,
so
for sure.
Like if you want to go down there and throw him in a GPP, I actually think it's a good play, and definitely the guy I'd target. So that was the last guy I wanted to bring up because I actually think it's a pretty viable GPP pick.
Yeah, same here. You can get so many guys, and you can get like Rory, then like a 10K guy, and then like maybe a 9K guy. I mean, yeah, I love Scott Pinkney. I always loved Scott Pinkney. Definitely a great GPP play. What's his course history like? And he got a 47 last year, if that takes in anything merit. But yeah, I like Scott Pinkney always.
Yeah, he played really well at times last year. So yeah, someone to keep an eye on for sure. You know, like I said, if you're gonna make a bunch of teams and you want to go that route, I mean, I really don't think it's a bad play. I really think he could pop up here with like a top 25 or something, or even like a top 30. So
yeah,
that's pretty much it for me. Unless you guys got any last minute questions or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, this is a good field. I mean, the next 2 weeks are gonna be awesome. Like we got good weather this week, awesome course, and then the players. I don't know. I mean, I think the smart money's probably on Rory playing well, but I think there's a lot of good young players playing well right now, and so I really have a feeling one of those guys are going to win. I like Byung-Hun An or Thomas or Berger maybe. So that's kind of my feeling for the week. You feel like Rory's going to get it done, or?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I don't have any doubt in my mind that he's at least going to get a top 5.
Yeah. But that I can definitely.
I'm gonna post the DM message that Vogt sent me. I'm just gonna go into that really quick, and I'll just post it on so you guys can read it. But yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I really love like Rory this week. GPP wise, I'm gonna be 100% on him. There's no reason why I maybe. I don't know. Maybe Wednesday night I changed my mind, but as of right now, I think 100% on Rory. Okay.
All right.
Eric. All right. Eric, you need to fix the app. It always goes slow in loading. It makes me cry. Come on. But yeah, I'll let you go and yeah, I'll post in Slurb when the app loads. But other than that, guys, good luck this week and have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.